Hi friends, Lori here. I'm here to start a new reading vlog. It is January 24th, which means we have one full week left in January, which means I'm back here to do another themed reading vlog. So this reading vlog is going to be some fantasy reads that I have been dying to tackle. So one of them is kind of a funny story. It's Graceling by Kristin Cashore. This is the book that's actually for the Time Warp YA Book Club. But there is quite a few young adult series. This one came out in 2008 that I just never read. I don't know what I was reading. I really think back then, like in 2008 and 2009, I was in college the first time. Seems like a million years ago. And I really read adult literature and some YA, but the YA books I was reading was like I don't even know what they were. I couldn't even tell you. And I was not on Goodreads at that point, so I can't even like go back and look at it. But it was a while ago. I do remember reading quite a bit of adult literature at that point. But yeah, this is a series that just kind of got away from me. The fifth book is coming out, or the fourth book I think is coming out. I actually got an arc of it from the publisher. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm only about like 25 pages into this. So I'll probably read another maybe like another couple of chapters and then I'll give you guys an update. And then the other book that has been everywhere. I have heard about this book from every single person that I follow. Every person. And that is Legendborn by Chasey Dan. I did have an arc. I don't know where my arc went, but I got this so long ago from Simon & Pulse. This one's the Owl Crate edition. And this is like a King Arthur inspired book. When I read the summary, it sort of reminded me a little bit of like the Mortal Instruments series, and I've always craved book series like that. So yeah, this book is like almost 500 pages, which is a behemoth. And this book is also almost 500 pages. So they're quite big. But I am so far ahead on my Goodreads goals already that I really feel pretty confident in diving into these. And if these take me until Saturday or Sunday, I'm perfectly happy with that. Also, my listening goals for this week, because I always have a couple of audiobooks running. The audiobook I do desperately want to finish or start and finish this week is Beyond the Darkened Shore by Jennifer Leake. That is like a Vikings themed novel that is on for one of my Avenger reading boards that I do need to read. So yeah, I have to finish that. And I also, after I catch up on some podcasts, I also do want to start the Stacey Abrams book, her memoir. She has two memoirs. I own one of them, and I want to start that because I love Stacey Abrams. I think she's a great organizer and want to support her. So yeah, I also am pleased to report I have got my YouTube queue down to one video, but I'm going to say 0 videos because the other ones I'm going to watch tomorrow morning when I get ready for work. And I also just finished watching Walker Texas Ranger, which is the reboot. I know there have been so many dramas about that show series, but you know what? I'm just going to say that I like it. I like the casting. I like the show. It has Keegan Allen in it. I'm pretty much thrilled. So I'm going to keep watching that. And I'm going to go watch the season premiere of Legacies, which is something that I've been wanting to do, and sort of read Graceling in the background. And here is my trick to reading more. I purposely, other than Netflix, I purposely get streaming services that have commercial breaks, and I just, or if they don't have commercial breaks, I make my own, and I just read a chapter or a couple of pages during every single commercial break, and that's how I read well, not quickly, but that's how I find time to read, but also have like an entertainment life that's outside of books. I also don't know what I'm gonna watch tonight. I don't know. I haven't got there yet, but I'm deciding if I'm going to watch another episode of Bridgerton or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Those are the two shows I'm trying to finish. I think it's more likely I'll probably finish Bridgerton this week, than it is that I'm going to finish Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But I am going to go watch Legacies and read a little bit more Graceling. And when I'm done with Legacies, I'll probably give you guys an update. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Back. It's about 5:30. I did wind up working all day. I didn't wind up updating. I was a little bit distracted, but that's how Monday always goes. I either get a lot of work done or I don't get enough work done. I also did do my workouts, which is good. I did read one more chapter, so now I'm page 73 of Graceling. Basically, I'm going to give you guys a brief summary from what I understand so far. Again, I'm really not that far into this book, but this is a society where kids are basically are called graces, and these have some like magical or enhancement abilities. And Costa is a grace, but she has very superb fighting abilities. And Gracelings are sort of seen as like other in the society. People don't always like them, they're scared of them, but her power is that she can kill people. And she can kill people in very fast and efficient ways. So her only protection is that her uncle is king of one of these like 7 realms, I guess. And she, to kind of combat her being used almost like an assassin, she kind of makes a task force that helps her feel better about herself basically, and kind of like find ways to help the various societies. And this book starts off and she's going to venture save an old man from a dungeon, and that kind of sets her journey. I really like Costa as a character. I think she's really heartfelt, but also like really unique. I also like how she kind of went on her own to kind of find a way to like save the day, or in her world, sort of save the day, because she felt like she was being used a little bit. There's also an element where she met another Grace, which their paths sort of crossed, and I just wanted to know a little bit more. But I did wind up reading about 73 pages. Also, last night I did wind up catching up on Legacies and Walker Texas Ranger, and in the weekend I also caught up on Nancy Drew. So I got caught up on those. I'm gonna try to catch up on MacGyver tonight. That's my plan. I'm actually gonna go do that right now and sort of read in the background. And when I get up to page like 100, I'll probably give you guys another update. But so far, I'm really enjoying this and happy that I finally picked up the series. So I'm gonna go read this, and then when I read a couple on pages, I'll give you guys another update. Talk to you guys in a bit. It's 7:17. I did wind up watching my episode of MacGyver that I fell a little bit farther behind on than I would like. But I also got up to page 127, which is chapter 13 in Graceling. I have to say, I'm really liking Costa as a character. I think she's a really unique heroine, and I like how she's kind of dealing with her powers of being a grace, and how that really is her power is very violent. But I also really like her relationship with Poe and that dynamic. I just think their dynamic is super fun. And sometimes reading older fantasy series, I struggle with the male leads in that a lot, because they're very like not my type of character. But I really do like Poe quite a bit. I like Casta, and I'm also liking how she's kind of not wanting to be as violent as the king wants her to be, and that is sort of a battle she's been waging. And I'm really liking the mental gymnastics she's doing, and also the things she's doing to kind of make herself feel better about the killing she'll potentially have to do in the future. I really like it. I like the setting. I like the side characters quite a bit. So I'm gonna keep reading and watch another episode of MacGyver. When I'm done with my next episode of MacGyver, I will give you guys another check-in. Bye. I'm back. It's about 8:30. I did wind up getting up to about page 150 in the Graceling, or Graceling I think it's called. I really am really liking this book. It's a very fast-paced, engaging read. I always say this, there's always 2 dueling romances in a book, and I always fall for the wrong romance. This might be the one series that I actually might fall for the right romance, so we'll see how that goes. But I really do like the side characters in this book, and I think the world building is really interesting, and it's just quite a fun read. There was a small hiccup in the middle of the book that I'm curious to see like how that sort of plays out. But I am still watching MacGyver. I'm probably gonna stop reading for the night just because I like to read on like sort of a middle of a chapter. So that's kind of what I'm gonna pick up with you guys tomorrow. And let you guys know what I wound up watching. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. I'm back. It's 5:42. I did wind up doing a bunch of things after work. I spent the whole day planning for the next couple of weeks, curriculum wise. And I said this before, I work in the city, so I'm trying to plan a curriculum that could work 4 different ways, which is really challenging. So I've been trying to kind of focus on that and just see how long I can go so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can. So that's really what I've been doing. I'm put off grading, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but it's just this is a little bit more tedious and needs my time. I have to film videos and stuff for that as well, which if you ever notice like random videos pop up on my feed and then vanish, they're from my students, and that's also how I'm posting that for them. But I was last night, I was able to watch a couple of episodes of MacGyver. I was able to watch a couple of episodes of Call Me Kat with Mayim Bialik, and I also watched a couple of episodes of Call Your Mother, which was a fun show. I didn't get to watch everything, but I am still around the same point that I am for Graceling by Christian Kishore. I'm gonna read to about a page 200. I'm on about 150 right now, and then I will give you guys another update because I really didn't get to read a lot during work. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will update you guys when I read about 200 more pages. I mean, 50 more pages up to 200, but I honestly didn't get much reading done today, but I hope to get some more reading done tonight. But I'm going to go watch an episode of MacGyver, and I'll probably update you at the end of the episode of MacGyver, so I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I did actually wind up reaching my goal. I did wind up getting up to page 200 in Graceling by Kristen Kishore. I really am liking this book. The romance is one that I haven't necessarily read before, like the type of romance. I think the characters are super fun. I like that the mystery of Poe's grandfather sort of kind of is more encompassing than I originally thought it was going to be. I like that the setting of the book has changed as well. Um, I always say this. I sometimes struggle with books when there's like so few characters in it. I really like the first half of this book because there was a lot of characters to sort of play around in this story. And I'm just curious to see if the cast of the if we're going to get more characters in the story or if it's just going to be Poe and Costa going forward. I mean, I like them as a character, but I also was really, really fond of the people back at Costa's home with her uncle. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more tonight. I did do a bunch of work on my computer. My eyes are a little bit tired. Like I worked a little bit later. I worked until like 4 doing some prep stuff. So I think I'm just going. What I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna watch Mr. Mayor because those are like 30-minute comedy episodes. But I might take like a little bit of a reading break. And then come back if I want to at like 9ish. But yeah, I really am liking this book. I'm definitely so happy that I picked it up. And it is definitely a bigger book, so I don't think I'm going to finish this before like Friday. But I'm still really liking it. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for another update. I'm back. It's about 5:06. I did wind up going for a walk. I have to admit, last night I was very unproductive. I fell down a deep, like, Pod Saves the America world and started listening to super old episodes, like, over the course of the past 4 years. Was not very productive. And now I've said this a bunch of times, I'm trying to prep my curriculum super far out. And I'm still not as far as I want to be. So it's only 5. I think I might take a couple of hours tonight and just sort of get it done. So I don't have to worry about it because it's so stressful knowing I still have so much more to do, and I also just want to see like how much farther planned out my curriculum is. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit of time, maybe like an hour or 2 hours maybe, and just sort of get it done. I've been putting off grading and I don't feel super good about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna take a little bit of time, maybe like 2 hours, just put on some older true crime videos so I really just have something to listen to. I'm a big fan of background noise, and I'm gonna just try to get this units done. So I will touch in with you guys when I decide to stop. And I might just like put on something relaxing later, not like anything super stressful. But yeah, so I will check in with you guys when I'm ready to like relax, but it might be a couple of hours. Talk to you guys in a bit. I'm back. It's about like a day later. Sorry. When I get caught up in like wanting to finish something, it's all I can think about, and I know it's a lot of work to prep. The reason it's a lot of work, if you wonder, it's because we really don't know what our school year is going to look like. So I have to plan a curriculum that works a few different ways. I have to plan a curriculum that works when I physically am in a building and I teach my fully remote kids and my kids that I see once every 6 days. And then that same curriculum has to work for all of my students when I'm teaching them fully remote at home. And then whatever else they throw at me. So it just has to be a very, very like fluid curriculum that like works, and it's just some things don't work that well. So I literally planned the whole rest of my year down to a week. And I actually have more curriculum than I need. So if something goes wrong or like one of the lessons doesn't work, I have a couple of weeks as buffer, which is what I wanted. I also did like my end of the year survey and stuff like that. And also today's lessons were a video. I was showing kids a production of Little Mermaid and having them write a response to it. So I did actually wind up reading a little bit of Graceling. I'm on page 266. They're still adventuring. the characters are still very much one-on-one, and I've said I struggle with that sometimes because I miss the characters in the first half of the book, but they're about to find their destination, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Also, last night I did watch a couple of episodes of Mr. Mayor with Ted Danson, which is just a delight. And it also, his daughter was in Speechless, which I loved on ABC a couple of years ago, so I'm really liking that. But I'm really gonna try to like knock out a good chunk of this. I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight. Actually, I probably not. I know I won't, but I want to be able to get through a little bit of this. Again, I told you when I get into my head, I sometimes get a little bit distracted. But I do want to make a good chunk of this. I also do want to watch Nancy Drew. I think I might watch it this weekend, but I definitely do want to watch it. So I'm gonna go read until like 300, and then I'll give you guys another update and see how I'm liking it. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking her as a character. This is definitely does have some adult content in that. I will say there is sex, not on the page, but I would say sex implied. But I am really liking the characters a lot. I think that they're fun, and they're not a relationship or a dynamic I've read a lot in older YA, and I'm really liking it. So I'm gonna go read a little bit more, and then I'll give you guys another update. Talk to you guys in a bit. I end up getting up to page 300 in Graceling, and I am really happy because these books are like companion books, and I was waiting to see if like you would see the characters in the other books in this book, and we have met at least one. I don't know who the I tried to look up the summary for the second book, and it didn't like tell me who what even the name of the character, but the third one it's pretty obvious who the character is, and we haven't met that character, so that's kind of cool. And we have expanded our character pool a little bit, and some of the predictions of the characters early in the book totally came true, which sometimes there's like red herrings that you kind of expect that it's not exactly what you were thinking, but this one was a little bit they were very honest, like the characters just guessed correctly, which I think is interesting because sometimes you always look for like a shocking twist, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna go keep reading. I'm gonna probably read about 50 more pages, and then I'll give you guys another check-in. Bye. I'm back. It's about 6:38. I did wind up doing all of my errands, which I'm actually pretty happy about. And I also did wind up getting, I think I said I got to part 3 in Graceling, but I'm actually going to read a little bit more. I have a date night with a friend. We are going to watch WandaVision together, and I've been trying to do a few more of socially things since we are so socially distanced in our own houses, but she's a work friend, and I really, really like spending time with her, and she has not seen WandaVision yet, and I wouldn't mind rewatching. So we're gonna do that. My goal is to try to finish this book before we have that. She said about 7:30, so I'm gonna go read. And when I read about 50 more pages, so I'm on page 362. So when I get up to page like 400, I'll probably give you guys a quick update. But I'm gonna put on some like background noise that I've watched a couple of times just because we're at the tail end of this book, and that's when these fantasy books tend to get kicked up. And then I'm gonna kind of figure out what I want to read next and see how long this reading vlog is. But I was able to film my February TBR, which is my TBR videos are always so long, and then I've actually been getting better at actually reading the books on my TBR. But it's just they're always just so long to film, and I still need to film my wrap up for the second part of the month, but I think I'm probably going to tackle a few more reads this weekend, so because I don't have a lot of other things I have to do. So I'm going to go read this. I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'll give you guys a quick update. Bye. I'm back. I did actually wind up reading about 50 more pages. I'm on page 400. I'm going to try to read a little bit more, but my friend said we are going to do our WandaVision watch, so I'm not sure how much more I'll make progress in, but my goal is to definitely finish this book tonight. That is my goal. I'm really close to the end. I really love the unexpected relationship that developed towards the tail end of this book, and I really like that. I think that the relationship Casta had with the character at the very end is really unique. This book definitely has a lot of like settings and environments, so that is something that really captivated me because you start from a court novel and then it goes to like an event, like a quest novel, and then there's like some harsher elements, and it's a very, you could tell that this is definitely like a full story. Like you could tell this is like a year and a half, and I like that. And I'm really intrigued to see what book 2 and book 3 is. I'm really excited for book 3 right now because that we have met one of the characters that is the lead character in that, and I'm really liking the environments and the characters. I'm really loving Costa as a character. I think the romance was done really, really well in this book too, because it really had a lot of page time in the start, but now they're in two separate locations, and I'm sort of wondering how that's going to all wrap up in the last 50 pages. But yeah, I'm going to keep reading until my friend calls me for WandaVision, and then when I'm at the very end of this book, I will give you guys another check-in. Bye. Here I'm back. I just watched WandaVision, the newest episode, and no spoilers, but I'm intrigued. Like, it did something I was really not expecting, and I'm really liking all of their original program that they've been putting out. No spoilers, but I am gonna go finish reading Graceling. We definitely watched, I actually rewatched the whole show with a friend of mine from work. It was nice and relaxing and super fun. So I am going to go tackle the rest of Graceling, and I will give you guys an update when I'm done. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey friends, Lori here. I'm back. It's about 10:33. I am just really, really tired, and I did get up to page 446, but I definitely want to take a little bit of time and reread the past couple of chapters for this. So I think I'm just gonna finish it tomorrow. But I'll definitely check in with you guys tomorrow morning when I wake up in the morning and give you guys a plan for the weekend, and I'll see how long this reading vlog gets, and I may break it into 2 parts. But I'll check in with you guys tomorrow morning. Hey friends, Laura here, I'm back. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I did actually wake up pretty early, and I'm gonna try to do that more often. I woke up around 7:30, which gives me a lot more time in the morning. So since I was unable to finish Graceling last night, I'm just gonna sit here and kind of tackle the rest of it. I sped read a little bit, and I want to kind of go back and take my time. And then I'm just gonna kind of check in with you guys and see where the time is. I also think I'm gonna go to yoga today. I think I'm gonna go get a pedicure. But yeah, so that's what I think I'm doing. I'm gonna go to yoga, go to pedicure, go get some lunch. But I do want to go finish Graceling, and then I'll check in with you guys and see what my weekend plans are and kind of touch base. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Here, I took a longer break, but I did wind up reading about 50 pages of Legendborn by Chasey Dion. I also am watching a few shows in the backgrounds. I finished watching The Bold Type. I watched the last 2 episodes of that season, and then I watched 2 more episodes of The Good Doctor. I'm just trying to catch up on my shows, which has always been a process, but I'm really liking Legendborn. I really like the Mortal Instruments series. I love the urban setting of books, and this book is just so well done. The writing style right off the bat is really captivating me immediately. I like her writing. I'm always a sucker for good quotes, and I just think she has a really cool writing style. I also like the Merlin elements. I'm literally only 50 pages in, so I don't know that much about the Merlin elements yet, but I know that there's some sort of secret society. There's Merlin elements, and she's sort of able to tell when people are using powers on her, is what I'm understanding. But there's also a lot of conversations about racism that come up that just, whenever I read about it, it shocks me. And it shouldn't shock me anymore, but that part really makes me angry. But I also do I'm always a big fan of the Merlin elements, but I just think the diversity of this read, really seeing it through Bree's point of view, is really interesting. And it's a very, very rich world. I really like it. I'm gonna keep reading. It's a very quick. It's I want to keep reading this book. I don't want to put it down. I really like Bree as the main character. I'm really intrigued about the Merlin elements. I only read about 50 pages, and the part I've seen is very, very vague, but I'm really intrigued. So I'm gonna keep reading, keep watching The Good Doctor, and I'll give you guys an update when I get up to page 75 or 100. So talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hopefully by then I'll have a little bit more information, because I'm still right at the start of it, and it's a very, very long read, so I'm just hit the surface, but I'm really liking it. Hey friends, I'm back. It is about 8:13. I do end up getting up to page 76 in Legendborn. I am really, really liking this book. I've always loved the Mortal Instruments series, and I always have loved Buffy. Those have been 2 of my big fandoms to date that I still really enjoy. I've never found something that sort of replicates that very, very well. Hi friends, Laura here. I'm back. It's about 8:14. I do end up getting up to page about 76 in Legendborn. Have to admit, everyone that has said such positive things about this book. I'm really liking it. I've been trying my hardest to diversify my reading, and this book is definitely checking that box, but it's also filling a void that I haven't really found. I'm a big Buffy fan. I've always been a big Buffy fan, and I've always been a big Mortal Instrument fan, but I've not found a book series that replicates that world with the characters that I really have enjoyed. This book, however, I also love King Arthur. I'm a big Merlin fan. I used to read The Lost Years of Merlin by T.A. Barron. This book is just great, but it also balances it with like a modern twist and just talks about like black girl magic, which I think is great. And you can also see it infused with, the racist situation that happens in UC Chapel Hill, which connects back to a cold case that I like am really interested called it's the Faith Hedgepatch case, which actually happened at UC Chapel Hill. So whenever they talk about it, I kind of feel a little bit of a connection. I've been following that case for a couple of years. It's like a murder case. But it's set at this school that does exist. This program doesn't exist, but the school does. But I also just like that like everything just kind of ties together. It also does deal with a lot of grief. And anxiety, and her, she's dealing with the death of her mother, but then she kind of realized that maybe hi friends, I've tried to film this clip like 3 different times, so maybe third time will be the charm. But it is like 9:22 now, or 8:22, sorry. I did wind up getting up to page 76 in Legendborn. I am really enjoying this book. I am a big Buffy fan. I've always been a big Buffy fan. If you follow me on Instagram, you see all my Buffy Funko photos. But I also really like the Mortal Instrument series, especially that first series. Like that first series with Simon and the gang and Claire and the gang is kind of one of my favorites. But I definitely spy so many elements of those two series in this book, and I'm loving it. Also, I'm a big Merlin fan, like a big King Arthur fan. So even simply hearing that it was like based around King Arthur mythology or myths really pulled me in. We're 76 pages into this book, and I'm just now like sort of understanding what's happening, which is very, very rich world building. But the standout of this book is just the characters and Bree, the dealing of grief, and also her as like a black girl or an African American girl just in this world, and just how racism and prejudice sort of just feeds into everything that she does. And then you have this magical twist that I'm really liking, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm gonna read a little bit more. I also am watching The Good Doctor, which I'm trying to catch up on. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back to reading. I really am liking this again. 76 pages in this book, I have a lot more of this book left, and I know that it's a very, very slow burn story, which I normally really enjoy, and I'm loving it. I also love that it's tackling grief. Her mom died at the start of this book, and she's sort of tackling that, and now the mystery that she's dealing with may be closely tied to this society. But again, a lot of the elements are just really working for me. Really enjoying it. So I'm going to go read a little bit more and watch The Good Doctor, and I'll update you guys when I read to about page 100, maybe a little bit more. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi, I'm back. It's about 8 o'clock. I just woke up actually. But I did last night. I didn't wind up updating again, but I did wind up finishing The Good Doctor, so I'm fully caught up on that show. My goal for today is to catch up on This Is Us and also catch up on my YouTube queue. Because I have a couple of videos. But I did wind up getting up to chapter 10 in Legendborn. I'm really, really enjoying it. I think I'm going to spend the majority of the day reading this. I was going to do some Christmas craft. Like, I was going to do some delayed Christmas crafting today. I still might. It just depends on stuff. But I do want to, like, it's the last day of January, so I want to sort of wrap up my month and do my final video filming. I want to update my my entertainment vlog and all that other fun stuff, and do my Skillshare class. I'm gonna go do all that. I am gonna go to yoga today. Hopefully I can like drive there because it is quite cold here. So I'm gonna do all the little errandy stuff, then I'm gonna film, and then I'm gonna head to yoga. And when I come back from yoga, I will update you guys again. Bye. Here I'm back. I did wind up going to yoga and I wound up watching a couple of episodes of This Is Us. I watched an episode, but I also read about it's page 116 in Legendborn. I have to admit, I'm really enjoying this book. I've heard incredible things about it, but I love like Merlin and King Arthur, and this book is just hitting all my sweet spots. I love Brie as a character. I love like the development of the characters. And again, I will say this book is definitely a slow paced story, so it does start off with a bit of a bang, but the world building is a little bit on the slower side, but I'm actually okay with that. And again, her writing style is so well done. Like I'm already like tabbing quotes to put in my bullet journal for later. I'm really enjoying it, and I think that this is just going to be a story that is going to combine my favorite elements of Buffy, my favorite elements of the Mortal Instruments series, and then tag a Merlin addition to it, which I'm really liking. I'm gonna take a little bit of a reading break. I'm gonna go do my workout, which I haven't done, so I'm gonna go do that, take a little bit of a reading break, and then I will come back and check in with you guys, and we'll give you guys a time check. Right now it's almost 1, so I'm gonna probably take like 30 minutes off, go do a workout, and kind of organize myself, and then I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Talk to you guys in a bit. I'm back. It's actually almost 2, so I did actually wind up actually reading when I was on the elliptical. But I did wind up getting up to page 128. It's funny, I just read Lore by Alexandra Bracken, and now that this story is really kind of unfolding, the way she sets up her world is very similar to like how Lore was set up, in the regard that there's families, they're called, you have a King Arthur character, which I do really like. But then it also has like the Mortal Instrument side of things, and then it also sort of has like also a Percy Jackson element. So it's kind of like rolling all my fandoms into one. But I love Brie as a character. And I think what I also really like about this book is you're kind of seeing this through Brie's head as she's kind of sucked into this world that she's not used to, obviously because there's magic present, but it's also a world that she's not used to because she's the only African American character in it, which I think has slowly been kind of been building throughout this whole book, comments people have made. And then there's again, it connects back to the way that her mom died, and was that normal, or was there some supernatural element? And that I'm really liking it. So I'm going to keep reading. I got up to page 128. I'll probably give you guys up to when I get to page 150, but I'm really enjoying this book. Like, just the writing style alone, I'm loving. The characters, I'm loving. The diversity, the take on the myths, I'm really liking. And I'm sure there will be a romance in this book as all, but I really like that we're getting a wide cast of characters to sort of enjoy. Again, it sort of reminds me of the City of Bone characters, because there was a lot of those, and I could almost see this kind of going in that direction. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I will be back in a little bit to give you guys another update, probably when I'm finished with the next episode of This Is Us. So talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hi friends, Laura here. I'm back. I did wind up getting up to page 150 in Legendborn. I really don't have anything else to say about this book other than I really like it. I think the mythology is also like expanding, and you're learning a lot more about what this world is. And again, I will say this is a 500-page book, and I'm about 150 pages in, so I feel like I'm finally getting to the crux of the story. But it is a slow burn. I think there's a lot of world building in the story, and I like slow burn stories, and I love her writing style. And I love the myths of like, Mortal Instrument elements, but also, Arthurian legend stuff, and also a little bit of like Percy Jackson. I think it has a lot of fun elements to it, and I'm really loving it. And I don't want to put the book down. So that's good. So I'm going to go watch another episode of This Is Us. I'm catching up. I fell a little bit farther behind than I would like. So I'm going to catch up. I'm going to watch another episode, and then I'll give you guys a check-in. Hope to be on page 200 by the next time you see me, but I might not make it that far. We will see. Touch you guys in a bit. Here I'm back. It is February 1st. I just want to do a little bit of a check-in. Last night, I did wind up watching quite a few episodes. I watched another episode of Flight Attendant by Kaylee Cuoco, which is on HBO Max. Really loving that show. And then I watched like 3 episodes of Bridgerton. I'm really liking that show. I love all the side characters. I like Daphne and Simon. I think that they're great, but I am so invested in the side characters in that show. I'm just hoping and praying that it gets like more seasons so we can get Eloise's story and Penelope's story, because I know that they have books coming up in the future, but their books are pretty far down the line. The next season will probably be Anthony, and then it will probably be Colin. or Benedict and then Colin, because Colin is Penelope's book. But oh my goodness, it's just so fun. I know there's a lot of like drama out there. There's drama about everything that you watch, and I know there's a certain scene that people are like losing their minds over, and I haven't seen that scene yet. I probably won't watch it, but I really do like the show. It is also like a massive snowstorm. We're supposed to get like 2 feet of snow. I was virtual teaching today, and the last like 2 hours of it was a disaster because it was so windy. The kids kept getting kicked off. I kept getting kicked off of the internet, so it wasn't a super big success. But I do want to make it my goal to finish a good portion of Legendborn. I'm gonna just keep this reading ongoing until I'm done. I really do enjoy this book. It's very, very well written. I think that that's the standard of it. It's super well written. I'm super captivated. It kind of is combining all of my favorite fandoms, Mortal Instruments, Percy Jackson, and just a lot of different elements. I love the Merlin elements and like the King Arthur elements as well. I love Bria as the main character, and I'm really liking it. So I am back to my YouTube queue because that's just what I do. I just save my YouTube videos, and since it is the first day of the month, or like I want to catch up on everyone's wrap up. So let's see, how many do I have? It's probably more, yeah, it's like 42 videos. I actually have to kind of go through them and kind of delete the ones that I've already seen. But yeah, so that's kind of my plan. I'm gonna go start watching them. And I'll report back when I'm totally done, which will probably take me all evening, but it's a crappy day and I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna try to read. My goal is to finish a majority of this and catch up on my YouTube videos mostly. So I'm on page 216. When I get up to 250, I'll probably give you guys another update, but I am on chapter 25. So I'll give you guys an update when I read a little bit more and when I get back into the story. But talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Here, it's about 5:52. I did wind up getting up to page 260 in Legendborn. This book is getting very interesting. It's making me very angry, I will say that, which works for one of the Avengers reading challenges that I'm reading. Because you're really diving into the Black experience in this world, especially because it's taking place in a mostly white community and Brie is an African American character. But it's also combining two magic systems, which I think is really interesting, and both are really compelling. The Merlin element is it was really interesting to me, has been since the start of this book. And then there's also another magic system that is also developing, which is tied to Brie's mom, which I think is really compelling. Again, it really like sort of, I keep saying this, but just the way this book is sort of developed reminds me a lot of the Mortal Instruments series and the main character of Clary. Obviously, there's some differences for various reasons, but that system is very, very like, and there's also a competition element in this book, which reminds me of other competition series I've read. But it's really interesting. I think that all the side characters in this book are also super captivating, and I'm really liking that. But I will admit, this book gets dark. There's elements in this book that were introduced that I was not necessarily expecting. Um, it's a very wide cast of characters, but it is like I've the only thing I feel like you get limited information about the characters. Like you learn a lot about Sal, you learn a lot about Brie, you learn a lot about Nick, but everyone else you're sort of kind of on the outskirts of. And I just wonder if in this book we're going to kind of get more on those characters because I find them really interesting. We just don't know a lot about them, but there's a lot of conversations that happen to this book about race and even sexism as well. But I do like the development of the two magic systems. So I'm going to read about 15 more pages and then I will give you guys a quick update. I'm also making my way through my YouTube queue. I'm watching a lot of, February is Black History Month, so I'm watching a lot of like the videos that people have been posting, and I'm just trying to decide what reading blogs I want to focus on this month. So I put up a poll on my Instagram, and I'm gonna see which one wins. But I will talk to you guys in a little bit more for my thoughts on Legendborn. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Book lovers, Laura here. I'm back. So I did wind up finishing Legendborn. The reason I wasn't doing a whole lot of updates was because it was the middle of a snowstorm and my internet was really, really bad, and I was trying to update my computer. So a lot of things came into me not updating you guys. But I wound up really enjoying this book. I'm sort of torn between a 4 and a 5-star rating, like a 4.5, 5-star rating, because I loved it. I'm a big Merlin fan. I've always been a big Merlin fan. Like the myths of King Arthur has really, really been. This book is also so well written. Written wise, it would definitely be a 5-star read. Character wise, the way she incorporated the Merlin myth, but also had it rooted and had elements of African American culture was really great. I love Brie as a main character. Um, I love the mythology of it. The pacing of this book just I struggled with a little bit because the pacing was not consistent. There were some parts of the book that was super fast paced and other parts of the book that were super slow paced. The book was very focused on one element and I don't think it really I mean I wish there was a little bit more of like her in school and stuff like that because that was the one part of this book that just missed for me a little bit. Like it was entirely focused on her as an adventure to find her, to find her mother's killer in a sense, and also to kind of connect her back to this legend-born society. I love the legend-born stuff. I just wanted her world to be a little bit more representative of like modern day rather than just being stuck in this legend-born world. But I enjoyed it. I'm definitely checking out book 2. So many good quotes by far. I really liked her as a main character. Very, very solid. So I actually wound up reading over 1,000 pages in this reading vlog. The one negative part was I read 2 super long books back to back, and I think that like exhausted me a little bit in reading this book. So I definitely am going to pick up some shorter reads next. They're going to kind of go along with my reading challenges I'm in the middle of doing. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this reading vlog, and I will see you guys for my next one. Bye.